Good morning. Good morning, everybody. We are here this morning to talk about what you want. What do you desire? What can life look like? Super excited about this topic and helping you dream a little bigger, because I have found in my years of building a business and coaching my teams that many people have trouble dreaming. They have trouble believing that they can have more, that they deserve more, that more is possible. Um, so I can't wait to dive into this a little bit and help you dream a little bigger. Believe that things can happen. Believe that life can be more magical. So my name is Heather Lambert. For those of you that don't know me, I have three boys, husband and three boys, and we are living in Florida right now. And it has been an amazing couple of years. I've done a lot of growth and a lot of dreaming myself, and my children are starting to get bigger. So, quick story about how some of this came to be. I was driving with my middle child. So I have an older son, Joey, who is now in the Navy. He's off at school. And my middle son, Nicholas, just graduated high school and college. He got his associate's degree while he was in high school. And we were driving one day talking about, life after high school and what's he going to do. And he talked about him and his friends had been doing some dreaming and some, thinking about what they would like. And he talked about going to Denver. And I said, "Great, when are you leaving?" And he said, "Oh, Mom, it's just a pipe dream. Like, it's not real. We're just talking." And I thought to myself, why? Why is it a pipe dream? Why, and why is that term even a thing? Like, dreams are dreams, right? Um, so a pipe dream, for those of you that have not heard that term, is really something of fantasy, something that's not real, right? Something that just kind of comes to you, but it's not something that could actually happen. Um, and so that's what he thought. He thought all these dreams, all these things that they were talking about couldn't actually happen. And I thought, why can't they? Why can't they be real? Why can't that be something that you do? Um, and I very strongly believe that any dream that you have, any desire, anything that might make you happy can be possible, can be reality. And I think sometimes it's just the idea that we don't believe that we can do that. We don't believe in ourselves enough. We don't believe in our or that we belong maybe in that lifestyle, right? A very us and them. And that's what they do, and this is what we do, and this is how I live, and this is the life that was given to me. And I just don't think that that's true. I think you can have whatever life you want, if you believe in it hard enough and you do the things to move you in that direction. So, um, we're going to talk about your pipe dreams, and we're going to turn them into real dreams and then set some goals. And I think doing some of this work is tough. It's hard because it's a little bit scary, because we are all afraid of failure. We're afraid of what other people think. I think ultimately that's where the fear comes from, is what people might think of us. If we say we want something and we never do it, what will they think? Or if we say we want it, what will they think of us, right? If we want a big house or a fancy car, we want to go somewhere special, what will people think? Do they think we're selfish? Do they think that we are, um, spoiled? And um, who are we to get to have that kind of stuff when people are struggling? That can be hard too. So I have 3 activities for you today. We're going to talk about a couple of different activities, and they all ultimately are about dreaming and visualizing a better life, and figuring out what it is that you want and will drive you in the direction of that better life. And I think coming at this from different directions is important, because some of them might be easier for you than others, or some may speak to you more, or different things might come up in if you try it in different ways. So we're going to try 3 different activities today. But first, I will tell you a little bit about how I came across these activities. So I am super excited to get started with this new business. And as I have grown myself, I have taken a lot of courses. I've read a ton of books. I love personal development. I'm a self-described information junkie. So I don't know if you guys love information or love to read, but I love to read. I love to learn. I was a teacher for 10 years. So I think teachers are students and we have a love of learning anyway. So in my 10 years of teaching, I have learned a lot of stuff. I was also in property management, so I have a lot of experience with people. I have also been building a direct sales business for 8.5 years. So I have been coaching my team and helping them to dream bigger and to think about life a little differently and what might be possible if they start to do things differently. But for myself, a couple of years ago, sometimes we start to grow and we start to do different things, and then we kind of hit a rough patch. We hit a plateau or we get stuck. And so I was stuck for a minute and I started reading and I started learning and I started taking some courses and I ran into some amazing people and amazing mentors that I've learned so much from and have been able to grow myself. And these activities came from along the way, some of the books that I've read. So Michael Hyatt, I think, is the book that I read. Um, Maybe not. Anyway, several books. Denise Duffield Thomas for sure has given me a lot of these activities, but I've seen them over and over again in different spaces from different people in slightly different ways. So we're going to talk about them and walk through them together, and I hope that they help you. I hope that you get something out of it. I have a little twist of magic that I have found helped me in working through some of these activities. So here's one of the things I want you to think about, and I apologize for my child in the background. Um, so in the past, I have been very resistant to different activities and different things. And sometimes we think, well, okay, yeah, I get it, but so what, right? And so when I started really learning and trying to get myself unstuck, I decided I was going to do everything that these people told me, everything in the book, all the activities. I was going to fully 100% do it, whether I thought it was crazy or not, whether I thought it was going to be helpful or not, whether I felt silly or not. And so that's what I'm going to challenge you today. So these 3 activities that we walk through, I want you to really put 100% into and do, whether it feels silly, whether it feels like it's uncomfortable. That's the point. When we are uncomfortable, we're growing. And sometimes we resist that uncomfortableness and that silliness, that weird feeling that we get when we're doing it. And then we don't fully get the benefit because we're not putting ourselves in there into this vulnerable position to grow. That's when we grow. That's when we grow. That's when things happen. That's when change happens. That's when the magic happens. So I'm going to challenge you for these 3 activities to really give it your all and really put yourself out there, feel a little uncomfortable, and do it anyway, right? Do it anyway. We tell our kids that all the time. Do it anyway. So here we go. I want you to allow yourself to dream. I'm giving you permission today to get a little crazy and to really just brainstorm. So when we talk about some of this, too, I think it's important to realize sometimes we're afraid to do things and to put things out there because we don't want to be held to it. Like I said, we're afraid of what people will think if we fail, if we don't accomplish it, right? And so I don't want you to think that any of this is like contractual. We're not goal setting. This is not something you must set out to do. We're brainstorming. We're just throwing all the options out there. You can't choose an option if you don't know what they all are. So, we've got 3 activities, and And we're going to walk through them one at a time. Very distracted right now. You're distracting me, honey. Because you're distracting me. Okay, so our first activity is called Be, Do, and Have. We're going to be, do, have our way to some bigger dreams. So all you need for this activity is a piece of paper. And you're going to write, oh, I'm going to do it this way. Be, do, and have at the top of your piece of paper, like that. Be, do, and have. Okay, so again, this is an activity I first learned from Denise Steffel Thomas, so thank you very much, Money Bootcamp. But I have a little twist at the end that we're going to do together, and it's going to be very powerful, magical, in fact. So the first thing you're going to do is brainstorm, column 1, all the things that you want to be. Everything that you've ever dreamed of being, even from when you were little and you dreamed of being a firefighter, or you dreamed of being a ballerina or a princess or whatever it is. What do you want to be? And you're going to write it on this list, and you're going to brainstorm all the things. Don't censor yourself. Don't hold back. Nothing is silly. Nothing is too outlandish to write down. Everything is valuable. Everything is possible. The thing about dreaming and thinking about what you really want is you never know how that might come to you. So even though your mind might have one thought, the universe may give you something completely different, and it will fulfill that dream just in maybe a different way. So be, what do you want to be? Everything. Do you want to be a millionaire? Do you want to be a mom? Do you want to be a star? Do you want to be a teacher? Do you want to be a leader? Do you want to be a lawyer? Or do you, whatever you want to be, write it down. The next column is do. What do you want to do? What do you want to do? What do you want to do in this life? What do you want to do with your time? And not what can you do? What do you want to do? What do you really want to do? And not just tomorrow, but next week, next year, next month, in the next life. Like, what do you want to do? What's your bucket list? What are things you've always said, oh, that would be fun? Write it down. So do you want to write a book? Do you want to jump out of a plane? Do you want to speak on a stage? Do you want to go on a trip? Do you want to remodel your house? Do you want to go for a walk every day? Do you want to be able to sit in a hammock and read every day? Do you want to go to the beach? Do you want to, what do you want to do? Everything. Do you want to go to a movie? Do you want to read a book? Do you want to have time to meditate? Do you want to, everything, big, small, and otherwise. The little things that you might want to do every day, and the big things that you might dream of sometime. What do you want to do? I would love to go to those neat little huts. I always see them on the travel things, and there's a walkway out into the ocean with the little huts that you can go, and they all have their own private pools and just sit out. Oh, to do that. So what do you want to do? Make a list, brainstorm. Nothing is off limits. And the last column is have. What do you want to have? And I find sometimes people have trouble with this one because it is materialistic. And we have been taught so long that materialistic things, wanting things that are materialistic, is not good. It's greedy, it's selfish, it's not important. Well, maybe it is important to you. And different things are important to different people for different reasons. And so it's okay to want things. It is. It's okay to want nice things. It's okay to want nicer things. It's okay to not settle for the things that you have or the things you think you deserve. And it's okay to want something more and something bigger. And so this is your opportunity to really go crazy. Be as materialistic and greedy as you want to be. Remember, this is not a contract. Just because you write it on this paper does not mean that it must be, or it will be, or it's going to be, or that you have to go get it. This is just brainstorming. So nothing is off limits. You can write it down. Write down what you want to have. I want to have new furniture. I want a new car. I want a convertible car. I want to have an office with a door I can shut. I want to have uh, nice clothes. I want to have new shoes. I want to have um, whatever it is. What do you want to have? What do you want to have? Prescription sunglasses that look cute. That's what I want to have. Remember, big, small, or otherwise, it does not matter. Nothing is off limits. I want you to really dream and go crazy. Now, you may not have time to really do this fully right now, but go ahead and get it started. And then as you think of things, you can add to your list. Okay, so you have your be, do, and haves, your list of things, all the things that you want to be, that you want to do, and that you want to have. Nothing gets left off the list. If it pops into your mind for a second, you write it down. And you write it down fully. Don't just say, well, I can't have a fancy sports car convertible in pink with purple polka dots, so I'll just write down car. No, be specific. Go for it. Put down the pink car with purple polka dots. Like, it doesn't matter. It's not a contract. This is not a in stone. This is what you must have now. This is just you dreaming. Now, here's where it gets really exciting. So that's just step one. Kind of doing your initial brainstorming, writing stuff down, thinking about what's possible, right? But what really happens, the magic happens, is when you read your list. And not just in your head, you have to read your list out loud. Now, you can do this by yourself in a bathroom. It does not matter. You don't have to read it to anybody, because I know that can be scary. But you want power, you read it to somebody. Like, that's called accountability and vulnerability. You read it out loud to somebody and you are just up in the magic game. But if you really want this to start to take hold and really do something to your life, read it out loud. What will happen is, as you read that list, different things will make you feel different ways. And there will inevitably be a couple of items that you will feel in your gut. You'll feel in your heart, you'll get goosebumps. You will maybe start to cry. It might bring up emotion when you read it. Those are the ones that you've got to pay attention to. Those are the things that are the important things to you. Those are the ones that are really going to inspire and motivate you to make changes in your life. Those are the ones that become your goals, that become your focus, that become your inspiration. So read your list out loud and see what happens. I would love for you to comment and let us know if there is a goal or two on your list that starts to give you those feelings in your gut. I did this with a group of leaders in my other business at one point, and she was so grateful. She says, oh my gosh, I just started bawling. She brainstormed her be do have list, and when she read it out loud to herself, the thing that triggered her emotion the most was that she wanted to have girl nights, girl time with her friends. So evidently she was missing that connection, right? Humans are social beings. I don't care if you're an introvert or an extrovert or what, we are social beings and we crave connection. And so she was missing that in her life. And so on her be do have list was girl nights, going out with the girls. And so when she read it, I didn't think anything of it until she read it out loud. And when she read it out loud to herself, it triggered that emotion and she cried. And she knew that that was something that she needed to pay attention to, that she needed to make a priority in her life, and that she needed to make time for. because obviously it was something missing. It was something that was important, right? That would fill her up. Not only was it just a dream that she wrote down, but it was really triggering some emotion. So when you read it aloud, take note of the things that make your tummy turn, that bring up the emotions for you. Those are the important ones. Now, here's number 2 part of this, or 3 part, I guess. um, the power in this also comes in repetition. You have to do this kind of dreaming over and over and over again. I've heard it said that, millionaires write their dreams once, billionaires write them twice a day. So I don't know if twice a day is, that will take some time, but definitely you should be doing this often, weekly, daily, even first thing in the morning. Do a quick be do have list. Once a week, you want to start your week off right, do a be do have list. And if you're still not doing that, once a month, when you think of it, like as often as you can, you should be dreaming like this and brainstorming. What do you want? What gets you excited? What do you really want to be, do, and have in your life? Because the more often you do it, the more you will find the things that are important to you. Because as you repeat the activity over and over again, some things will drop off. Some things won't be important anymore. Some things will come true and you won't need to write them down anymore. Some things will change. Some things will shift. Different seasons of life, we will have different priorities and different thoughts about what we want. And so over time, as you do it over and over again, different things will fall off, new things will pop on. And the things that stick around time after time after time, those are the ones, again, to pay attention to. Those are the things that are important to you and are a priority. And so those are the ones that you really got to take note of and maybe do something about. So that is the be do have. I hope that you enjoy it and you try it often. Again, I would love for you to chat and let us know if there was something on your be do have list that really triggered for you. The next activity that I have for you is called the wheel. And I was going to put the link, but of course, technology doesn't work when you want it to. So I think I can share my screen. Let's see if I can do that. Share my screen, and I'm going to share this one. There we go. Where is myself? There I am. Okay, so this is the wheel. Can make this. There we go. Okay, so the wheel, this is a very, very common in personal development space. I've seen it multiple times called many different things. And what we're going to do basically is draw a circle. We're going to make a wheel. Now, I like to think of the wheel as like a bicycle wheel. This is the best way that I have found to kind of visualize it for myself. Your wheel is made up of lots of different categories of your life, right? And we talk about work-life balance and balancing all the things. And we wear a lot of hats, especially if you're a wife, mom, daughter, sister, you have a job also, you're building a business, whatever. We wear a lot of hats. And trying to find balance in our life so that everybody gets everything they need from us and we take care of ourselves too, which is super important. We can't take care of others if we don't take care of ourselves. But all of these different categories in your life, we talk about balance. And what I find is balance is really tricky. It's really hard and almost non-existent, to be honest. It's less about balance and more about ebbing and flowing and giving and taking. We talk about an orchestra and different instruments are highlighted in different songs at different times, right? But that's a whole nother thing. So today we're talking about this wheel. We're going to make sure that we have given attention to all the categories in our life and that all the different areas are at least being attended to and not being left out or forgotten. So if you have a wheel and one category is just not working, it's a little flat on one side, that wheel is not going to roll very well, right? So what we want is our wheel to roll smoothly as possible. So it's not necessarily that we need everything to be really huge, but we want to be well rounded and that we can roll along. And if we are flat on one side completely, then that's going to cause us to not have a very comfortable ride. Life will be a little bumpy. So, what we're going to do is rate each category of your life from 1 to 10. So our first category is family. And if you just assign it a number, and so what I find when I do these things, some people struggle and they're like, I'm not sure. Well, if I think about this and I think about that and I think about this, don't think. That's the trick to some of these things is you just go with your gut and it's the first thing that pops into your head. When you think about your family, is it good, bad, or ugly? Like start with 1, 5, and 10. Are we in the middle? Are we way up high? Are we way down low? And then adjust accordingly. These numbers are not specifically like you don't have to be perfect. It's just for you. It's not for anybody else. So it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Now, when you think about family, some people question, well, is that my immediate family? Is it my extended family? Who does this include? It includes whoever you decide. Again, your wheel, your life, your decision. So think about family, assign it a number 1 to 10. Again, 1 being my family life is awful, it's horrible, I'm a mess, it's not good. 10 being it is the best thing ever. The second category is fun. Do you have fun? Do you have fun every day? What kind of fun things are happening in your life? If you're not having fun in life, then something is missing because that's the whole point. We need to be able to enjoy. So rate your fun from 1 to 10. The next one is career. Now, this can be your work, your business, whatever it is for you, your job, your way of making a living. It's oftentimes our identity is ramped up in our career. Who are you? Are you a teacher? Are you what are you? And then the next category is spirituality and personal development. So whether you are a religious person or not, this is your self-awareness, your spirituality, whatever it is that you believe, and the development of yourself as a person, right? A lot of times that's what religion is. It's making us better people. So are you working on that? Are you working on making yourself a better person? And what would you rate yourself 1 to 10? Money, finances, debt, savings, retirement, future. Can you pay your bills or not? Like that, sometimes that's it. Like, I can't pay my bills at all. Money is horrible. I'm stressed out. Or I've got a ton of money saved in the bank. I've got lots of investments, or are you somewhere in between? So give yourself a rating on your money situation. Friends and community are the next category. And this, again, can be, excuse me, whatever you define it to be, whether you have best friends, whether you just have connections in the community, you have, whether you volunteer, whether you show up in different clubs, organizations, whether you have very close friends or you just have people that you kind of see or hang out with in different scenarios. How do you feel about your friendships, your community involvement, things like that? Love, again, you define this, whether you have a partner or not. Do you have love in your life? In terms of, do you feel love? Do you feel like people care about what happens to you, right? But you define it, your wheel, your life, your decision. Give it a rating from 1 to 10. And then health. How healthy are you? Are you sick? Do you have issues you haven't dealt with? Are you relatively healthy? This could have to do with sickness. It could also have to do with diet, fitness, weight. It could have lots of aches and pains. If you've got aches and pains all day, then your health is not the best it could be. So decide what that is for you and give it a rating 1 to 10. Now, once you have rated all of the categories, then you have a wheel, and you can draw this on just a little piece of paper. This does not have to be perfect. You can just rough sketch a circle, put 8 lines, so crisscross, twice, so you've got 8 pieces of pie. And then so from 0 in the middle to 10 at the end, and 5 is halfway, you plot your dots for each category. So this might be the love category, and this would be the health. Maybe we have money, friends, family, and you put a dot and connect them. So I'm going to do one for you. You can see what this might look like. I hope everybody is plotting and connecting. And maybe that looks like that. And I'm just going to do this rough so that you can see, and we can talk about something. All right. Okay, so here's, for example, a wheel with 8 pieces, and we've plotted our numbers in different areas. Maybe this is fun. Maybe this is money. Maybe this is love. Career. Friends. And so on. Okay, so perhaps your wheel looks something like this. Now, I would suggest that this wheel is not real round, and so life might be a little bumpy. There might be some things we need to pay attention to and take a look at. So for example, if your career is doing really well, perhaps you don't have a lot of time to hang out with friends. And if you're not hanging out with friends and doing crazy stuff, maybe the fun in your life is not so good because you're working all the time. And maybe you're working all the time because you're having struggles with money. I don't know. This is completely made up. Nothing is real. Love is really great. You have a wonderful partner, but maybe you have some extended family issues. I don't know. So what would this wheel suggest to me is that we need to take a look at our money and our debt. We have some things going on here, obviously. So we might want to list out what money do we owe? What money is coming in? Do we have a budget? Are we spending more than we need to? What's going on here? Right? Maybe it's time to hang out with friends more often and have some connections. And sometimes those connections can fulfill us in ways that we're not getting filled. And when we are filled up, we are more able to tackle things that stress us out, like money, right? So everybody's wheel is going to look a little different, and everybody is going to get a little something different out of their wheel. So there's no right or wrong here with your wheel. It's just information. And what you decide to do with that information is completely up to you. So it may be that you find that you are pretty even in all your categories. Maybe you find that you have one that's really low or one that's really high. What that might suggest is that, are you avoiding something, right? If you have an area that's really, really low, are you avoiding it on purpose because you're afraid to tackle whatever it is that's going on there? Maybe you have an area that's really high and things are really good. But why is it really good? Why is it so high compared to everything else? Is there a reason for that? Is there something that you're doing in that category that you could then learn from and use in other categories? Maybe you are focusing all your energy in that area to avoid other things. So that's possible too. Is your wheel really small? Does it need to grow? Does it need to be bigger? So really, there's a lot of information you can take out of this, but what you take out of it and how you choose to use it is really up to you. You can create goals around things that are really low, or you can decide like, this is really good for me and I'm going to lean into that because it's good and it makes me feel good. So I'm going to do it more. It really is up to you, but it is great information. Understand how there might be areas in your life that you're neglecting and to take note of that. So that if you need to make goals, or if you're not feeling fulfilled, it may be because one of those areas is not being taken care of. And so perhaps we need to think about spending time in some of those areas instead. So that is the wheel activity. I hope you enjoyed it and got something out of it. If you had a massive aha or learned something, I would love for you to chat and let us know in the comments what your aha was, what your thing was that you found out about your life. I figured out when I first did this wheel assignment, as a mother building a business, working from home, you always feel like you're not giving enough to your family, or we feel guilty about working and neglecting and leaving them in front of the TV for too long, perhaps. What I found when I did my wheel is that my life is way more balanced than I thought it was. It was just mommy guilt eating away. And sometimes we have to give ourselves permission to do some of those other things and realize that everyone is getting what they need. It's just our nature to feel guilty that we're not giving everybody everything. And when we can let some of that guilt go, and the easiest way to do that is to realize that everybody is getting a piece of you. You are giving to every area, and it's okay. You're doing enough. It's good. And sometimes realizing that life is good is just as powerful as identifying areas that are not good. So knowing that there are things that you're doing right is just as important to pay attention to, and allowing yourself to be okay with where you are, um, so that you can move on and do more, right? Okay, so activity number 3. I have one last thing, and we're not going to fully do this because this one takes some time, and you're going to have to kind of put yourself into a place where you can take a minute alone and quiet to really think about this. Even when you're driving might be a good time to kind of think. Just don't get too daydreamy and have an accident. That would be bad. But if you can find some quiet time and space to sort of do a little dreaming for yourself, it's called the Ideal Day. And I love this activity. Denise Duffield Thomas did this with us, and she really walked through the specifics and the details. And she talked about how one of her mentors at a retreat or conference or something had done it with her, and how transformative it was, how it really opened her eyes to think about what she would enjoy. And I think sometimes we get so caught up in the day to day and working so hard on making life good for everybody else that we forget about what we want. What would be good for us? What kind of life do we really want to be living? And that's important to think about. We don't have to settle. We don't have to just make do with what's given to us. We can do things to move us in a direction to have the things that would really make life the very best for us and the things that we really, really want. So be, do, and having can help you kind of identify some of those things that might get you excited. The wheel might give you some idea as to what areas of your life you can work on, or what areas are really good for you that you can lean into. And the Ideal Day is great for giving you a picture of what you're really, really could have in your future. What would really be amazing? It's sort of the, oh, it would be nice if, right? It sure would be nice if life was like this. And so that's the premise of the Ideal Day, but the details are important. So when you start thinking about your ideal day, writing things down is super important. Speaking them out loud, again, is magic. If you can write down an ideal day and have it on paper and then read it out or tell someone about what your ideal day might look like, that is power. There's power in that. So I challenge you to share, not just on paper, and make it real. Sometimes we're afraid to make it real. We'll think it in our head, but we're afraid to make it real. Don't be afraid to make it real. That's the first step in actually making it real. If you can't write it down, you don't really believe that it can be true. If you can't say it out loud, you don't really believe that it could be true. And so allow yourself to believe that. Put it on paper, say it out loud, feel the feelings because they will come up, um, and know that things are possible. So when you think about your ideal day, think about waking up in the morning and where are you? What do you see? What does it look like? What are you wearing? Who's with you, right? What kind of things do you do along the day? And this is not necessarily like my ideal day tomorrow, right? I have to go to work. It goes well. Nobody yells at me. No, you're most perfect. Like, where would you be living? Where would you be working? What would you be doing? It might be completely different than what you're doing right now. It might be completely different than where you are. You may look different. 7-year-old. Yes, love.
How do I get to play one player?
I don't know. Give me 5 minutes. I'll be all done. I'll come help you. Okay. Okay. Um. So think about what your ideal day would be, and not just the day, but your ideal life. What does that look like? Where are you? What are you living in? Is it a condo, an apartment, a house? Where is it? Is it in the mountains, on the beach, in the desert, in a maybe it's in a great little neighborhood and you've got amazing friends that you have block parties with every night, or every weekend. Or maybe everybody's got kids the same age as yours so they can all go play together. Maybe you're all by yourself and you wake up on the beach every morning and you go for a walk. Maybe you're in the mountains and you can, watch the birds and see the animals or whatever. It's different for everybody and it's okay for it to be whatever you want it to be, but the details are important. So what kind of clothes do you wear? What does your hair look like? Um, what kind of furniture do you have? What colors are in the room? What kind of view are you looking at? What kind of food are you eating? Are you cooking yourself or do you go out or does someone cook for you? Um, where do you go? Do you work every day? Do you go to a job, do an office? Do you work at home? Do you not work anymore at all? Whatever it is, what kind of things do you do for fun? What kind of things do you do to relax? What is your morning routine? What is your evening routine? How do you lunch? Do you eat dessert? Are you planning a trip? Um, again, it's your ideal day. It's your ideal life. And it's allowed to change. So you can visualize and do this activity over and over and over again and see how things shift and change as your life shifts and change, as things become important to you or not, as you get comfortable in believing that you can have more, right? Your vision will change. You will become um, you will believe more strongly that things are possible. And so you might allow yourself to dream a little bigger each time. So that can be super exciting. So do your be, do, and haves often. Allow yourself to brainstorm and dream and figure out which ones keep showing up for you. Read them out loud and figure out which ones trigger emotion and which ones make you feel something. Those are the ones to pay attention to. Those are the ones to really lean into and figure out how to take actions towards making them happen. Check in on your wheel from time to time. Make sure you're not neglecting certain areas of your life. Make sure you're not avoiding difficult categories, maybe. Figure out where you're good and why are you good there, and maybe you can use some of those skills or some of those things in other areas to help you out and become more rounded so your wheel does not ride so bumpy. And then dream about what your ideal life might look like from time to time. Do it often. Really get detailed. Really think specifically about it would be so nice. It would be so nice if. Wouldn't that be nice? Yes, it would. And it can be if you allow it, if you give yourself permission and you believe that it's possible. Because when you start believing that life can be a certain way, that you can have things, you will start making decisions in your day to day a little differently. And it's those tiny little decisions, those tiny little actions day to day that will lead you to a different path and allow you to have the things that you truly want, that will make you happy, that will be a life that you have maybe never dreamed of until now. It's important to dream, it's important to visualize and to think about what would make you happy and what you would want, because we don't have to just survive life. We don't have to just go through day to day. We don't just have to take what life gives us. We create our lives. The decisions and actions that we take each day over and over again, from minute to minute and hour to hour and day to day and week to week, are the things that define our life. We are where we are right now because of decisions that we have made in the past. Good, bad, or ugly, we've made decisions in the past that have gotten us here, right now. And so you can start to make different decisions and take different actions day to day, week to week, month to month, year to year, that will move you in a different direction. But if you don't know what direction you want to go in, then how do you know what decisions to make? How do you know what actions to take? Right? So you've got to know where you want to go, where would be the very best place to be. And then the journey to get there can be an amazing ride. And you might learn along the way that you want to take a different path, and that's okay too. But you've got to start somewhere. You've got to dream. You've got to figure out where you want to go. Otherwise, you're just standing still, and that's no fun. There's so much opportunity in this world. There's so much out there, and you can have whatever you want. I give you permission. I hope this helped a little bit. I hope you have thought about some things that maybe you haven't before. I hope you have some dreams and some wants and some things that you can think about and that you can make different decisions, make your life better, and live more magical. That's what it's all about, a more magical life than you have today. It's okay to be grateful for today and still want more for tomorrow. We are humans and we are designed to grow. We feel fulfilled and happy when we're growing. And so we're always growing into something more magical, and that is good. Share with a friend. Who else do you know that needs to dream a little bigger? Share this with a friend. Chat in the comments. Let us know what you've learned. And I hope you join me again someday. That's it for now.